Greetings. Good afternoon. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I am going to look here and let's see. If you are joining on the replay, thank you so much for being here. Give me a hashtag replay below and let me know that you were here. If you are joining with StreamYard, I'm doing this from StreamYard. So if you want to comment, you have to go into that StreamYard.com link/Facebook and give them permission to use your name in the comments below. I believe I can stick that in the comments there. So let's see. And I just want to check in here. Okay. So I am going to be talking about 5 tips to get your practice sessions more focused. And today in this video session, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you frustrated at all with any lack of practice on your instrument or voice? Oftentimes we go through all kinds of things, like, you know, there'll be good times and fluctuation and bad times, and sometimes where we're practicing and playing is fabulous, and other times where we just hit a slump. So today in this video, we're going to talk about 5 tips to make your practice sessions a little bit more focused so you can get the results you want and achieve a little bit more in sometimes less time. But thank you for being here. Thanks for watching live. If you're here live, thanks for watching on the replay. Again, let me know that you came back on the replay, hashtag replay down below. If you're here live, just let me know also. Feel free, by the way, even if you're watching after the fact on the replay, feel free to let me know that you like something. Give me some love. Sprinkle this amongst your friends that you think might find anything here of value. So just so you know, when you stop by today, if you want the 5 tips in a summary form as well as a free gift, I'm going to be giving a free gift away. Just put down below hashtag practice tips in the comments, and I'll contact you via Messenger, Facebook Messenger, to get your contact information, and I'll send it on over to you. So there is a free gift to help you with your practice. Okay, so let's get started. So we've got 5 tips here, and we're going to start, and they're all pretty basic. Now, if you have your own tips that I don't mention here, let me know below. There's always more. We are just touching on this a little bit. This is good for any level of playing. These are all kind of universal tips. So here we go. Here's the first tip. Number 1, take your practice and break it up. Incremental practice. So if you're doing incremental practice and you know that you have a lot of things going on that you need to work on, maybe not as much now as when you are performing live a lot. It might be different right now, given the circumstances. However, sometimes when we have extra time, we think that we need to do more, and we can tend to, we meaning in general, we including me, can overdo it from time to time. So break up your practice means that you don't have to sit there for 2 hours and practice or more, or an hour even. if you know that you have a certain amount of practice that needs to be done, for example, an hour, 2 hours, break it up. Plan your day accordingly. So break it up into smaller increments. If you're only practicing an hour a day, you can still break it up into, 3 20-minute increments if you like, that kind of thing. Because basically, when we take more breaks, we're fresher. Sometimes we feel like once we get going, we're on a roll and we're going to lose momentum if we stop. But really, that's not necessarily the case. And there's actually been studies to prove, I had a note, but there has been studies to prove actually that if you do take breaks, you're going to still maintain the focus. You're going to get back on what you were doing originally. It helps your head. It clears your head. You can actually achieve more if you break up the practice sessions. So that's tip number 1. So it's practice smaller amounts of time more frequently instead of one big lump, right? Okay, that's basically what that is. Okay, tip number 2, plan out your practice. Now, this might seem basic, but a lot of times if we don't have goals set up, then it's hard to know what to practice. And often we'll just pick up we can pick up our instrument and start practicing and just get overwhelmed basically. So, and if you have a lot of things that you want to get done, it can be overwhelming. So if you sit down and then just kind of break up what you're going to do. Everybody starts out and you're going to warm up. So figure out how much time you're going to spend at this first session. Say you have 2 or 3 practice sessions. How much time are you going to spend warming up this first session? Okay. And lay it all out. And then maybe you're going to spend a certain amount of time doing scales, arpeggios, and whatever pieces you're working on, solos, etudes. Some people might be doing orchestral excerpts. Maybe you're doing chamber music, a jazz piece, improvisation, anything. Figure out what it is you're going to work on during this first session and how much time you're going to spend on each. So that doesn't mean you're going to solve every issue for everything. Okay, but you have to plan it out. Otherwise, you're going to get brain overload, or at least I do. And you lose focus and then you just get frustrated, right? Because you don't make as much progress. So plan out your session. Figure out what you need to work on. Now you can plan as much as this one 20-minute session, one 30-minute, one however long your first session is, to each session for the day, 2 sessions for the whole week, or what have you. So if you start planning, you're going to have to know also what your goals are. What are your goals? So planning your practice session is going to help you if you don't already have the goal. Create some goals. Okay, that's tip number 2. Now, tip number 3. This is important and this might sound silly. Take breaks. So if you're not breaking up your practice sessions into smaller increments of time, this is to remind you to do that. Take breaks. Now, when you take a break, what are you going to do? I'm just looking at my notes. If you mental burnout, if you don't take these breaks and you don't plan out this incremental time, you are going to mentally burn out. You have to refuel yourself, get a nice snack, have your lunch, Keep your energy levels up. Make sure you're drinking enough. It activates your brain power. You're not going to lose focus, like I mentioned before. I mean, you might think these two kind of go together, but really, you can have practice sessions planned and then, be so busy that you're not really remembering to take breaks. So another way to remember to do that is kind of set timers for yourself for how long you're going to practice, and that, or a timer to remind yourself to take a break. Or some people use there's like sports training apps and different things you can use where you set it for increments of time that you're going to work on certain things, and then the timer goes off, and there you go. So that's another way to remind yourself to take a break. It just kind of helps you renew your motivation when you do this kind of thing, because if you have 4 hours of practice and you're not stopping, then like I said before, talking about incremental practice, you're going to burn out. So, okay, so that brings us to tip number 4. And when you have these breaks, find some ways to use them wisely. So what are you going to do? I think that most musicians forget to do, particularly because we're sitting and playing, or even standing and playing for long periods of time, typically, like especially in rehearsals and whatnot. We need to get up, walk around, and stretch. We need to do different things to move our body, and not just the stationary way that we are playing our instruments, whatever instrument you play. So the best I find, even if it's not like a long walk or something, just getting up, walking around, refreshing my water, getting something else to drink, getting a snack, stretching, doing some stretches. Those are all very useful things. Now, I'm just going to stop here for a minute. I just want to thank you if you're popping in and joining us. If you missed the beginning, you can go back and watch the replay. If you're watching on the replay, just let me know below, #replay. If you need to comment, if you would like to comment, which I would love to have you do, you just need to give StreamYard permission to use your name. Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook. That's all that entails. I think we are in tip number 4. So we're talking about using our breaks wisely. And in this, if you really don't have time to take breaks because you're super busy and you have a lot going on, and trust me, I understand this as a parent that also works or has worked full time and then also played and taught and done all kinds of things. Sometimes you don't really have time to take a break, and that's why it's hard to practice incrementally, and it's hard to set up breaks and that kind of thing. So what would you do instead? This is my suggestion, is use your break time literally to do something with your instrument off your face. So for example, I don't know, say you stop practicing, maybe you're trying to, as a performer, you're trying to set up some, say, chamber music concerts, or maybe you're trying to touch base with some people to set up a rehearsal. That's a good thing. Do your research, or even just sit and listen to something you're working on without playing. You're still taking a break. And if you're doing something non-music related, you're using different parts of your brain. So you're not overstressing the parts that are involved in the actual playing and practicing. So another good thing to do is meditate daydream. Really, daydreaming gives your prefrontal cortex a break. It's helping your creativity briefly and that kind of thing. So if you do something else creative, you can do that. Like I used to like to draw. Some people like to paint. I see a lot of more painting going on. Actually, I have a friend online who's got some painting live stuff. She's awesome. Ask me if you're interested. I'll connect you. Definitely drink enough. Make yourself a drink. I can't stress that enough, especially when you're playing a brass or wind instrument. You are always needing to rehydrate yourself more than just normally you would. So there's quite a few things you can do, including use your break to do something else that you actually need to get done. Okay. Now, that brings me to I need bells and whistles. The last thing, what do you think it is? Anybody? Celebrate your progress. Hooray! It doesn't have to be like anything major, but really giving yourself a pat on the back for sticking with something you've laid out very specifically to help you make progress and help you maintain focus with your practicing is very beneficial. Whether that be just like some time to do nothing for 5-10 minutes with, if you're a very busy person, whether it's, okay, I get to go have a cookie, it doesn't have to be food, but, sometimes it's okay. Because I'm all about healthy choices in eating. And also your healthy choices in eating is going to help you with your focus too. So celebrating your progress, even the smallest, like at the end of the day, hey, I'm high-fiving myself in the mirror because I practiced, X number of minutes in X number of sessions. And look at what I got done today. And if I had just sat down and just picked up my instrument and played, then maybe I wouldn't have done that, because you can keep a log and start keeping track of this. And you'll know also with your log how this is going. So although I don't have keep a log, I did mention that when you're setting your practice goals and agenda, it's definitely in order. So if you've made it all the way through this video, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to high five you. Yay! So if you're watching and you would like a summary of these tips, as well as a free gift, which is a practice log. I'm putting together a new one. Then give me a hashtag practice tips down below in the comments. I will contact you via Messenger, and I will get that out to you personally. So let me know. You can also be watching this on the replay and still get contacted for that. And don't forget, if you're watching on the replay, just give me a hashtag replay below. No problem. Glad to have you anytime. So I'm just going to go really quickly over what we just started. Now, a lot of times when we practice, if we don't have goals and ways to track what we're doing, we kind of lose focus. If we're not right now playing in specific things, we still need to want to keep up playing. We need to figure out how to do it, get focused, be a little more productive. We start by laying out our practice goals and creating smaller practice sessions and practicing incrementally. By doing this, you will then, you will then plan your practice session out. Now, if you're planning your practice session out, then you probably, if you don't already have them, will start to come out with goals. And I think you should start to have them if you don't already. We can talk about goals in another one, live. So incremental practice and plan out your practice, like what you're going to practice. Scales, warm-up scales, arpeggios, etudes, solos, excerpts, songs, improvising, what have you, okay? Now, tip number 3 was take breaks. This means that if you didn't set up your incremental practice, you better do it quick because you need to take breaks. Your mind isn't going to be as focused and you're not going to achieve as much if you don't take real breaks. Now, that brings us to using your breaks wisely. And this might not seem like a separate tip, but really it is, because there's so many things that you can do with this break. Now, if you're a super busy person and you don't think you have time for a break can just be you making other plans and not having your face on your instrument, not playing, doing something besides the playing. You can be on your computer researching. You can be on your computer listening to something you're working on, but doing something else. You can take 5 minutes to daydream. You can do something else that's creative. If you're a photographer, go for a walk, take some pictures, draw, paint, whatever that may be that you do. You can make yourself a drink, but the biggest thing I always felt like is stretching and walking around, because as musicians, we're very stationary to an extent, and we need to move our bodies. So even just like 5-10 minutes of some simple stretches, that's going to be very helpful. So that's just one way. And we can talk about that in another live too. So that was tip 4. And then tip 5 was celebrate your progress, because if you don't, I think it's very beneficial to celebrate your progress, even if it's just for the day. Hey, look what I did today. Because, high five yourself in the mirror. Be proud of what you've accomplished. It doesn't have to be huge accomplishments. If you see little bits of progress, that's what's going to keep you going and enable you to do this again, to do this the next day. So if you can't plan this out like for the week or whatever, and you can only do this day by day, get up in the morning, figure out what times you're going to practice, how long you're going to practice, break it up. Then set your practice goals and so on. And it kind of goes with the incremental practicing and planning. You're planning what you're going to work on for the day. If you can't do the week, do the day. If you can do the week, better. That's even better. If you have any questions, always happy to answer them. So that was pretty much, we've covered all 5 of these great tips. If you want a summary of these tips, as well as my free gift, which is a practice log, you can put hashtag practice tips down below. I will contact you via Messenger and get those out to you. So thank you. Thank you so much for watching today, for watching live or on the replay, for commenting and sprinkling this amongst your friends and showing me a little love because you think that maybe there's something valuable that somebody else might want to hear, or you appreciate it. Whatever it is, I I really appreciate you doing any of that here. And I hope that you will join me next Friday, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, for another HornTalk tips, tricks, and licks. Say that 10 times fast. I didn't even realize I created a tongue twister. So I hope that this was of value to you. I realize that there are 10 zillion other things we could discuss about practicing here. I'm only getting into some real basics. We can do more. If you want more, let me know. If you have something specific you want to hear on this channel, always happy to oblige. Feel free to connect and get notified for when I'm going live. And there may be some times where there's a little music going on here. So you never know. Might be one of those. So if you're working on something specific and you have questions, hey, ask. I teach, I'm teaching online. And I'm going to be probably adding some classes online. So always ask if you're interested, or somebody that might be. Just have them come over to this page and contact me, and I'll be happy to discuss anything with you. So thanks for joining. Drink lots of water today. Make healthy choices so that you can focus when you do sit down to practice. And pick up your instrument and listen to fabulous music. Bye. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.